Yo, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chishi Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Hinge receives backlash from black women accusing its algorithm of discrimination. That's what's happening right now. There's this conversation. And you know what? I actually saw this kind of building, the momentum of this discussion right here, building in popularity on TikTok. I would see posts of chicks posting about Hinge. It would say things like, you know what I did? I changed my race to white, and all of a sudden, I started to get more men, and some of these women were getting more matches. I'm just glad I found my wonderful black woman.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Let's talk about this. So this video comes from the Shade Room, and they actually did a video on this particular topic. It's short. We're going to check it out real quick. Let's get it.
Not all milkshakes
And I was like, what?
are bringing quality boys to the yard. Outrage on TikTok.
Hinge is not for black women.
Very loudly not choosing us.
Black women calling out the dating app Hinge for putting their profiles at the bottom of the dating pool. It led some of them to change their settings as white women in the app.
That's crazy.
It was literally night and day.
And suddenly the caliber of men changed.
That's disappointing.
So the Shade Room had some single men put the theory to the test. What type of women does the app feed them most?
Well, when you first brought it to me, I was shocked.
Are black women harder to get versus white women?
Let's talk about it.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. It's been a conversation for years now. The gap between white women and black women when it comes to finding good men on dating apps. Despite a Pew Research study that found that black and Hispanic women use these apps the most, many are saying that they're getting the least likes, and the crop of men to choose from are often slim picking.
You know what? I just realized something. There's a full version of this on their actual YouTube page. I'm going to react to it. Why not? Let's check it out.
It's been a conversation for years now. The gap between white women and black women when it comes to finding good men on dating apps. Despite a Pew Research study that found that black and Hispanic women use these apps the most, many are saying that they're getting the least likes, and the crop of men to choose from are often slim picking. So, a group of black women on TikTok, they decided to change their settings from black to white on Hinge to see if the crop of men changed. And it did significantly. Suddenly, what they had to choose from, doctors, executives, lawyers, all in their timeline. So we wanted to know, is this an algorithm problem or is this a preference problem with men on these dating apps?
In general, dating is trash.
So that's the thing they're trying to figure out. Is it an algorithm problem or is this a preference problem? And I'll link the actual Shade Room video to the top of the comment section here so you guys can check it out.
But it really shouldn't be for Brittany Kiles, the 27-year-old television personality from Chicago. She admits that she doesn't have a problem attracting men. It's attracting the right men for her.
Someone who has commitment issues, or they're manipulative, or they ghost you.
It's the kind of men she's been matching with on Hinge lately. She's been on and off the dating app for a few years now and was shocked when she saw what black women were saying about Hinge on social media.
It's a black man in my comments who said when he has his profile open and he wants to date black women, he's open to everybody. But he says he has to unlike so many, he has to X out so many non-black women just to get to black women. It's systemic.
Am I the only one who saw the video of the young black woman who changed her race on Hinge to get different matches?
Change your race to white or Asian, but hide it so when a man sees it.
She said it was experimental and it was just to test out the algorithm.
Like, I'm not gonna do that. If I do, these are men that are seeking and have a preference for white women.
Okay, I guess here's my question real quick. To the women who are out here actually changing their race to like white women and they're getting more matches. My question is this, because I have one more question that I think would just destroy this whole speculation of, is it the system or is it the people? But to those women, are they in relationships now? Are they married now? Did that help you get a husband is my question. Which one of those chicks who changed? And of course, there's no way of knowing this unless if we actually did some type of study and went to go find these women who switched over to a different race. Were they able to show these other men that they were wives? Gentlemen, I'm here to confirm that Tiege Hanley is still the #1 skincare routine here on the Coffee Pod. It works. I don't know what to tell you, bro. It works. I know some of you still don't believe me. I get it. Oh, look. Who could have guessed? Another Tiege Hanley commercial. I don't know what else to tell you, bro, other than the truth that it works. It's the most simplified skincare routine you're going to find anywhere. I still use the face wash. I still use the exfoliation scrub. I still use the morning moisturizer, PM moisturizer. I use everything inside that box still to this day because it works. Why should I lie when I'm drinking truth serum right here in this cup? You know how it is. But I get it. The good thing is you don't just have to take my word for it, man. They have over 7,000 5-star reviews from other happy customers. And because Tiege is sponsoring this video, they're offering you an amazing deal. Just click the link pinned to the top of the comment section or in the description and you will get 30% off. So don't wait any longer. Click the link pinned to the top of the comment section or in the description and start your skin journey today. And yes, you do have to show a man that you are worthy of being a wife. I know.
Coffee makes me so anxious.
Coffee makes you anxious.
And, you go into thinking other things like, well, they may only put no preference.
She kept her photos the same, but the algorithm now thinks that she's a white woman on paper.
I changed it to Caucasian and I hit it. And when I tell you, it's night and day what I was getting.
She went from matching with the dusties, as she calls it, guys with maybe questionable jobs and baby mama drama, to these men, for instance, an IT professional, a managing partner, and a sales rep at a logistics firm.
There was a huge
The way he said dusties, man. The dusties.
class difference, and these were Black men. And I messaged the men who I matched with, and I said, what's your preference? What did you put as your preference? Because I don't want to be with no man who only prefers white women. One guy said he put no preference at all, and that wasn't a deal breaker for him. So he's open to all women of all ethnicities.
So I think most men, because women have to realize this, most men don't look at the options as, oh, I want this particular chick. This is most guys on dating apps. Now, when it comes to a man who's being intentional, few and far between do you find a man who's very intentional. But most men, they want a buffet. They want to make sure they want to try the Latinas. They want to make sure there's no white girls that are escaping. Very few men are really just intentional about the way they approach dating, especially on dating apps. This is different from a lot of women.
Another guy, however, he said he put Black and Latino. That little chat bubble kept coming up and popping down, coming up and popping down when I asked him that question. Like, you didn't put Caucasian at all? Finally, he was like, no.
Now, let's talk about that other option, right? I'm not an IT specialist here, but being a content creator and having dealt with algorithms for years, this can go one of two ways. If he puts Latina and Black, but every time a Latina pops up and a Black woman pops up, he's picking the Latina over the Black woman. He's telling the algorithm that he would prefer a Latina over the Black woman. This is not me saying that he doesn't like Black women. I'm trying to speculate those two examples she gave at how those men might ideally not be exposed to Black women on the app. And then there's the other side of this whole thing is we know the sentiment of a lot of these Black women who are on these apps. A lot of them take on this very independent, very feminist, independent approach to relationships. Men know this. And they're not so eager to assume that you are different, that you are a black woman. And you got to think of the way algorithms work. Sometimes it's not the system. It depends on the behavior that person has on the other side of that screen. And based on their preconceived notions, their past experiences, they're going to pick differently, and also their intentions. I think there's also a group of people here who aren't complaining and are actually dating black women, and a lot of black women on dating apps. Of course, we're always going to hear the side of the people who are the most frustrated because they tend to be the loudest in any situation.
Guys are being truthful. Why is she all of a sudden seeing these successful black men only when she changed her ethnicity to white? Katavia Ames has the same question. She's a content creator in Northern California.
I have beautiful white girlfriends, and they've shared with me the matches that they get. And Justin, let me tell you, I'm like, wait a minute. You have 6'5" finance boy with the blue eyes, and he's coming at you and he's taking you out on dates. And what do I have? I changed my ethnicity to white, but I kept my pictures as is, obviously as a black woman. I got a influx of really great matches. And these men, and when I'm saying like good matches, like they had great jobs. They were actually communicating with me, putting in some effort, and they were good looking as well. But that's just kind of the reality that we live in, that again, the whiteness is always.
So what happened? What happened?
It's going to be pushed. It definitely makes me feel like maybe the apps at the end of the day are not for us.
So the Shade Room got some single guys with careers on board to play around with their app settings. Josh Siganek in Atlanta, for example, he's 30 years old in media production and has always put open to all women in his settings.
When you started changing it to,
I think, by the way, again, I think most guys put all open to all women.
maybe all black women, were you getting all black women? Was it following your preferences at that time?
Yeah, I would say for the most part, yes.
Overall, he says that the Hinge algorithm follows his wishes when he started changing his settings around. He did mention, though, when he made the cold switch to black women as a preference, it did sneak in a few white women.
I definitely saw it.
I beg your pardon. No, I'm just messing. Let's keep watching.
Change, but they would still sneak in every so often. They would still sneak in someone of a different ethnicity,
and that could be because you have liked that specific ethnicity in the past, right?
Right.
28-year-old Chad Franklin, a businessman and influencer from Los Angeles.
My Hinge profile went mega viral.
He's single and often goes viral for his dating app hacks while helping other men maximize their own experience. He says that Hinge by far is the best for him, as he too is open to all women in his settings.
And are you getting just a full plethora of women?
Absolutely, man. My age range is set from like 23 upwards to 31. So, and I see all types, girls with kids, girls with no kids, girls with tattoos, no tattoos, piercings.
He says for him, there's nothing wrong with the Hinge algorithm. He says it's up to us as black people to know where we thrive.
Even me, white men do better than me on dating apps, but I'm not going to sit here and get mad at it either. Hinge doesn't owe you, especially if you're not paying them a monthly subscription.
We got these men over here serving coffee. I know these two sip coffee, including Austin, who I saw here.
They don't owe you nothing. They're not your matchmaker, right? So my advice to people who aren't having the most success with Hinge, do what your grandma did, do what your mama did, and get the boots on the ground. You want to meet a lawyer or a doctor? Okay. During freaking lunchtime, go hang out by all the lunch places by, doctors and lawyer offices.
He says we also have to look at ourselves. He says that the apps are taking data from your previous likes, which can affect your choices moving forward.
That's what I was thinking. That's the whole algorithm idea there.
Are black women harder to get versus white women?
Let's talk about it. I have dated black women, but the kickback I get from some of them, I'm going to say that twice. Some of them, one more time, some of them is that I'm not there. I don't have that from the street charisma that they're looking for.
So these girls in LA, they're looking for the hood.
Some. I have been, told that a couple of times by girls. So it has turned me off sometimes, but I do like dating Black women because I feel like that's a relationship that will make the most sense for me.
And that's not the first time we've ever heard this before. This is a very real experience for a lot of men out here. So my main question when it came to this topic was, let me read some comments first. So this commenter says, girl, it's not the app. This next comment says, I've never been on a dating app, so I don't know exactly how it works. Wow, never been on a dating app. Shout out to you. But is it not highly possible that maybe the men on the app are setting their preferences for others? That's a good question. Somebody else here added, this is what happens when people grow up without experiencing rejection. It's the app's fault. With the surprised emoji there and the coffee emojis. Here's somebody else who says, I met my man on there 3 years ago and we are now engaged. Shout out to this Black woman and congratulations. Here's somebody else who says, how did this turn into a Black man issue? LOL. These women turn everything. This is a response. These women turn everything into a Black man issue. This whole segment went over a lot of heads. It's not about going where you're celebrated. For the women who use these apps, it's very simply about the app's algorithm hiding them from potential dating options, and it's sad. So at this point, modern women have decided to now start turning on companies. This isn't the first dating app company that they've turned on. They did this with Bumble. Now they're doing it with Hinge. They're not getting the results. Anything but a sip of coffee. All right, I spilled some coffee there. They're not getting the results that they want. So what are they doing? Turning on everything and everybody instead of looking in the mirror. My only question, I think this question answers a lot of questions, was, can you set preferences in this dating app on Hinge? I've never used Hinge, but that was my only question. Can you set preferences on Hinge? And it didn't take long for me to go find an article that said, yes, you can. Okay, so you can set preferences on Hinge. There's your answer. And I say this also knowing that for a lot of women, Black men aren't their first choice on dating apps. It's usually white men. So if you can set your preferences, then could it be possible that people are setting their preferences to what they would like? And if you're not the first choice, what can you do to stand out? That's what I'll be asking myself if I was accountable. Listen, as always, I'm curious to know, what do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. I appreciate you checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pod. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.